What if you could build a system that is so powerful that you never had to write a social media post again? And you could sell this for tens of thousands of dollars without writing a single line of code. Well, in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how you can build that using N8N's brand new multi-agents feature. So what we've got here, first of all, is a chat interface with our social agent. We basically drop anything here. It could be LinkedIn post, it could be our thoughts, ramblings, something we found on a fortune cookie. Then this is really key. So we've got the social agent here that has beneath it, due to this new multi-agent feature, up to as many agents as we like. The very first agent we've got is a research agent. What this guy will do is basically take whatever you give him. So for example, I told him, hey, I want you to write me a post on the importance of building AI operating systems in business. The first agent's job, the research agent, is to grab that and to actually go and ruthlessly research this. It also has access to our core avatars, so you can go actually and see, well, who is our target customer? For example, it has access to this document explaining who the actual avatar is, so you can change that as you go. This will update automatically. Secondly, we have the performance agent. This guy is gonna go ahead and scrape your last 20, 50, 100 LinkedIn posts, get every single piece of data. How many likes did you get? How many comments did you get? And it will use this as an outlier benchmark, which basically means it can say, well, look, I know that, Jack's or Todd's or Ben's top 2 performing posts were like this. That's key data for how we're going to create this brand new social post. Once it's done that, it then will engage the script agent, which is trained on all the latest stuff that basically creates viral LinkedIn posts to create the script. And then finally, we've got this hook agent at the end, which will go ahead and create for us viral LinkedIn hooks. It doesn't matter, we don't need to update or anything in the file, so we can get rid of this guy actually, and that is that. And then what happens is it sends it all back to Loveable. So if I come over to Loveable now, you can see what we've got here. So check this out, guys. If I zoom in and show you this, for example, and I can just copy it, which I'll do, and post for simplicity. Now, before I show you why this is so revolutionary, I want to show an example that it just showed here, right? So like building an AI business without a solid AI operating system is like trying to run a marathon in flip-flops. It just won't get you very far. Then it breaks down everything. Here's the truth. An AI operating system isn't just tech, it's the backbone, blah, blah. Then it gives you all the information, and then it actually gives you key hashtags that you can use. And at the bottom, it gives you 3 different hooks, because the hook is 80% of it. And sometimes AI doesn't do a great job of creating a hook. So here we've got, for example, everybody tells you need to build an AI solutions. Nobody actually tells you how to scale them. Here's what you need to know about what AI operating system can solve. Why are these hooks relevant? Because I got 250 of the most viral hooks for social media. And actually what this hook agent does, guys, is look at what you've talked about, your LinkedIn post, and will self-select from 250 viral hooks and give you 3 suggestions specifically for your post. I've just done this for LinkedIn, for example. This will work for Instagram, TikTok, X, literally whatever you want it to be. So I come back over here. Hook number 2, if I woke up with a failing AI business tomorrow and wanted to scale it profitably by the next year, here's exactly what I would do. Or if you're a tech leader and you want to build a scalable AI business, implement proper systems, and listen to this. And again, guys, we've got research insights. So we've got interesting things down here. And what it will do is grab data. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to build this together completely step by step. We're going to use the no-code platform N8N and Loveable. But I also want to start by explaining why this is new and why this is so like revolutionary. So previously, just to give you some context, agents are great. They are like 200 IQ interns. They're really, really powerful. But the thing is, the more stuff you give them to do, the worse they get. So what we kind of want to do is build structures. So by having sub-agents with really specific jobs, they can perform those jobs to a way higher level. For example, instead of letting one AI agent with 50 tools, we create sub-agents with multiple tools. Now, previously in N8N, the way this used to be is you'd add a tool and you'd call an N8N workflow tool, right? And this would call to completely different scenario, somewhere else. You'd have no visibility of what it was doing. But the reason why this is so epic is we now have full visibility of sub-agents. And these sub-agents themselves can go ahead and have further sub-agents. And what is really cool about this is we have this interface here on that we built on Loveable that you can share with the team, you can chat about it on the go, and then this feeds in and this functions basically as our interface. And the other reason we care about this, guys, is we can have our most expensive, most powerful model here, right? And then we can actually have cheaper models like 4.1, like Nano, basically, ChatGPT Nano, for the ones that don't require as much compute. But the really cool thing is we're getting live data with this. And I didn't just want to show you this. I wanted to show you with something that can actually drive value, increase your business, help you sell this, really cool things. So to start this off, I want to basically we're going to do 2 things. We're going to build this in Loveable, and then we're going to connect this to N8N. So let's start by, if you want to grab the blueprint, just come over here to the classroom. We're going to come down to every AI automation, and then on the left-hand side, you'll see a multi-agent content system, and then basically you're going to click on this guy, and we are going to download him because we like one-click downloads, right, guys? So let's just save this. We come to our scenario. We simply come over. Let's just import this bad boy in here, for example, import from file, and then the whole thing populates for us automatically, and then you're pretty much ready to go. So we just need to amend some little bits, but you'll see as I go through. So let's say we wanted to build this one all together from scratch. So I get rid of this guy. We're going to name the scenario, which is LinkedIn $10,000 system. Let's give it a name so we're not crazy savages. Now, I recommend the way we do this is to build it in N8N, and then we'll just simply plug in Loveable because that's like the easy part. So first thing I'm going to do, and I always recommend this, guys, is start with a chat trigger first, like get the automation working, and then we'll plug in the wiring at the end. So we've got the bread and butter of N8N, which is a chat, and then we're going to get a beautiful AI agent. Now, what is really cool about this, the next level to this, and if you want this video, you tell me down below, but effectively what we'll do is the agent, instead of having, if I come over to this scenario here, it being a LinkedIn agent, we would have, this would be LinkedIn, this would be Instagram, this would be Twitter, so on and so forth, and it will just go down the chain. And you can see how we have this kind of architecture, this kind of system, this hierarchy, so to speak, where they've all got managers and sub-managers. I've just done LinkedIn to keep it simple. This is insane. It's a really, really powerful workflow. So we're going to start with a chat model. I'm going to pull in over here, guys, a little bit of cheeky OpenRouter, just for the sake of it. If you haven't connected OpenRouter, I highly recommend it. The reason I highly recommend it, not OpenTable, where you can book delicious restaurants, I recommend OpenRouter because you can actually access loads of free models if you want to, and it just lets you kind of reach over and grab the best models you want to. You come over to keys, for example, and then you simply create an API key here, give it a name like blah, 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 set a credit limit if you want to, like $1, I don't know, and then you can grab that key, come back over to your beautiful scenario, and when you click on this, you come over, and we'll just click on create credential, throw this guy in here, savagely, and all of a sudden, now we've got AI. AI is like new electricity in these workflows, right? Memory, we're going to touch on that later, so don't worry about it for the moment. And then we don't need to add something at the end. So what we're going to do is add in a tool. So click on tool and click on AI agent tool. Now, if you don't see this, it's because your N8N is not updated. This works on the web version, the cloud, so to speak, and also self-hosted. So what I want you to do is go down here. If you click on what's new, it should actually show you the ability to update. So make sure you update it if you don't see it. Now, we've got an AI agent tool. Very cool. I am just for simplicity's sake going to give it some models. If you are wondering, by the way, like how do I know what model to use? I just want to show you this very quickly. It's one of the resources in the community. If I come over to, I believe it's Ultimate Model Guide. Basically, you're always contrasting across 3 vectors, right? For performance, speed, and cost. So you got like here, like some of the best models you've got, when to use it, balance. I'll let you just sort of screenshot that, but there's like some interesting details that may or may not be valuable to you. So you can flex out as and when you need to for the thing. Like, you know, if you want really good language, you'd use something like Claude, right? Because Claude's like an absolute beast at that sort of stuff. Cool. So we've got the AI agent. Now, structurally, the way that I set this up is, and this is a really intelligent thing about it, okay, is the research agent's important because we want to enrich your idea. I want to make it as frictionless as possible for you to create something of value, right? So the idea is we want to take your idea and go and like research, like what's the latest, greatest things that's actually happening? So we call this guy the research agent. Okay, so the research agent himself, if I come over and just show you the system message that we've got, in fact, I'll copy this bad boy over here, and we're going to come over here and click on AI agent tool. We're going to come down here to properties, click on system message, and then you're going to give it basically a prompt. Now, structurally, what I recommend that you do is basically start with, you need to know how many tools you're going to have first and what they do specifically. And then we create this prompt with the AI agent at the top. That's like really, really key. So what's this guy's job? Well, his job is to do research, right? So it's going to get some information. It needs to turn that into rich data-backed topics with insights. We've given it tools. 2 tools I've given it, which is the ability to research and the ability to check my avatar. Because I want it to have an understanding of who my avatars are, right? Because contextually, that's like really important information to know. And then I just tell it what to do. It's got information about research methodology, the phase you should go through, search strategy, context, blah, blah, blah. Okay, really, really, really simple. And then we want to give it a description. So this description is basically what this guy here, the AI agent, will know about it. So he'll look over and think of it like a label. And it says, hey, I'm the guy that finds research. Okay, great. Well, if I have research problems, I could talk to that guy, right? So you basically want to make this a little bit more detailed. I have seen a little bit of a trend of people keeping it really light. The AI models are smart, but let's not make their life any more difficult than it needs to be. So you see, topic research agent conducts comprehensive research. Now the prompt is basically what you're telling it. We're just going to let the AI model define that, and that is basically it. So what I want to give this guy is a couple of things. I want to give him the ability to access my document. So first action step is to go over and create a new document. And I want you to list down your avatars. So like, who are you trying to target? What are their fears, their motivations, what they want, a representative quote. If you actually have customers, one thing that I'd recommend you do is just ask them like, hey, who are you? What's the transformation you want? Why haven't you hit it? Also, you want to understand like what their biggest blockers are. When you understand those 4 things, you can start to build a really good understanding of who your customers are. So chat model, we are going to go ahead and we're going to throw in a beautiful open reader again. Let's grab this guy. Beautiful. ChatGPT 4.1 mini will be sufficient for this. I'm going to give him 2 tools. The first tool I'm going to give him is the ability to go and check my Google Docs. Okay, so we're going to click on Consume Google Docs. If you haven't connected your Google to N8N, I'm going to link a video on screen. Actually, I'll put it down below in the description with the timestamp so you can actually get that started and link those up. Cool. So we click on him, which is decent. And we are going to look for, not create, but to get, and then give it a doc ID or URL. So if you come over to your actual thing here, you can just grab in the browser, it's pretty much everything. It'll say document/D and then a load of letters. And you're basically going to grab that and just pop it into there, like so. And then we can test this by clicking execute step, and it should pull the information. Beautiful. And that's how we know that it's worked. Next thing I want to do is to give it a HTTP request to actually go forward and grab Loveable. Loveable is the way that this is going to go ahead and get research for us. So if you haven't, head over to loveable.com, log in or sign up. You'll log on a page like this, which is cool, and you'll have an API key. If you don't, you can kind of just create a brand new API key here, and you just copy that and then come over to your beautiful scenario. And all you're going to effectively do, guys, is come down to tool, type in HTTP request. If you don't know what that is, it's basically just something that fires off and lets you make a request for something. And then you're going to fill out some key information. That information is this. So basically, it's post. You're going to send it to this URL. You're going to have authorization. Obviously, you can just make a key for this. Your API key goes here in the value section. And then you've got define by fields below, query by model. I'll let you sort of copy all of that stuff down right there. And then you put your API key in right there. And once you've done that, you've officially given it memory. And that is the AI agent tool, which is really cool. So I'm going to give these guys a little bit of a house real quick. Beautiful. So the next guy is going to be a performance agent. Now this is probably the coolest part of this entire build. You can tell I'm like freaking stoked for it. What we're going to do is we're going to give this guy the ability to call a scraper in Appify. And you don't need cookies. You don't need no weird ass second freaking technology cost. It will just freaking do it for you. It is really freaking cool. Let me show you exactly what I mean. I want you to head over to Appify.com. Check this out. Appify, if you don't know, it's like the Willy Wonka's Emporium for magical scrapers in good times. Basically, it just lets you scrape stuff, right? So you can scrape Instagram, Google Maps, Amazon Scraper, whatever you want. Go through to console. And by the way, I'll put all the links down below so you can just click buttons. Now check this out. You go to Appify store, type in LinkedIn over here. And you see this one here, LinkedIn profile scraper, no cookies. That's the one I want you to grab. Grab that guy. Why is this so freaking cool? Because you don't need to enter any cookies. It just does the thing, right? Really, really, really freaking cool. Then if you click on JSON here, this is the actual thing you're going to send off there. Now, it is really, really cheap to do this. If you do 20 posts, it's like 10 cents to do this. And you can store that. I like to keep it refreshed because from my point of view, like what your outliers are will change over time. You can't just run this once and keep it. What is also really cool is you can actually do this with competitors as well. So this is the thing that we're going to use to go ahead and actually scrape all the information so we know that we've actually got our outliers, we know it works. You click on API, for example, you click on, I believe it's API endpoints. You can use all of this stuff here. So I'm going to show you something really cool you can do right now. If you're ever sure on how the hell do I actually make this, I want you to copy all of this like so. I want you to head over to ChatGPT. Hey bro, I want you to create me a curl request based on all of this information, okay? And then you paste. Now on this itself, guys, what you need to enter here is basically just the link to your LinkedIn. And if you want to add competitors to get competitor analysis, you can do that too. Then come back over to ChatGPT, hit enter. This will then actually create a curl request, which means we can just copy and paste it directly into N8N and kick some ass. I love how ChatGPT calls me broski. It's funny. It really picks up on your language, right? So we copy it, which is ace. Come back over to our scenario. Let me get rid of this guy, the cursor of a million tabs. Then click on tool, click on HTTP request tool, import curl, paste that in, comes back here. This has gotten everything for me. This itself, though, you don't want that. So get rid of that JSON, head back over to Appify, which again is eluding me. Okay, and then you see he's got manual and JSON. You configure things on this page, and then this just shows you the code version of the thing that you made, right? Then just copy this like that, come back over to your scenario, and just paste it in. That's it. You just paste it in, and you're done. And then what you need to do then is just give it your API key, and to grab that, you come over to, once again, Appify. Going to come down, I believe it is in Settings, API and Integrations, and then you just create a new token or copy the one that you've got. So I'm going to grab one here, for instance, that I already created, come back over here, and then you just paste it into this section. Beautiful. So now he's got the ability to go forward and grab information from LinkedIn, which is really cool. Again, we want to give it a model. Again, I'm just going to give it the same thing from OpenRouter real quick. GPT 4 Mini is fine for this moment. Excellent. Then we need to give it its prompt. And to do that, we click on him, we click on the prompt, and let's just open this up and take a look. It's a performance agent. Its core mission is to analyze the user's personal LinkedIn performance to identify outlier patterns and insights that can be replicated into new content. Remember, you want to follow the data. What is actually working? So we can always give it that context, which is really cool. And you can also, by the way, if you've got like 5 or 10 other accounts that are crushing it, we can get that all in a document and use that for like, these are the best outliers in the industry. You typically want to look at what's happening over the last 1 to 3 months. Don't ever go back further than 6 months because the meta constantly changes. So then we've got all the information, it's got data, it just gives more information about the output format just to make it as easy as possible. And guys, that's pretty much all this guy needs to do. We do need to add a description in there. And I basically just explained here that the performance agent analyzes users' last 20 LinkedIn posts to identify high-performing content patterns, engagement outliers, and proven strategies that can be replicated in new content creation. Awesome. And then obviously, let's just rename these just so we know. This one is going to be performance. Actually, we'll call him outlier agent, right? Beautiful. All right, cool. So we've brought this green thing over. So we've got the guys doing research. We've got the guy that's going to find our outliers. The next one we want to do then is to add in something that's going to head and basically write the script for us, which is really cool. So again, you might have guessed it. We add in another AI agent tool like so, which is freaking sick. And we bring this one over here. By the way, if you want to sell this, because I get questions about the build's cool, how do you sell it? Obviously, we do a lot of stuff in the community. One of the best ways you can do this, I just want to, very, very quick aside, is demos. Demos, crush it. This is the thing you share with somebody that you build in advance, type what you want to do, and then they just see the response come up. That is magical. That is kind of what drives all the value. If I was selling this, I would probably change this a tiny bit to display the results in a slightly different way, but that's just something for you to have a little think about. Cool, so we've got the AI agent tool there. This guy's gonna do the script. So once again, we'll give it a quick chat model. Let's go for OpenRouter, perfect. Beautiful. And then again, so no real tools required for this, but the key thing here is the script. So what is the script? So if I come over to, it's in, let me just check sure what it says actually. No, it's down in every AI automation. And then on the left, we've got this thing here, and obviously feel free to just like build this however you want to under LinkedIn. This LinkedIn stuff is basically like, how do you create posts that just like based on the highest performing things possible, really drive it. So we give it examples. And that's a really cool tip, by the way, for how you actually want to drive things when you're writing these, when you create these automations, is give it examples of what great looks like, give it examples of what bad looks like. So even if I even come back here and double click and show you this script agent, this is kind of like the magic of it, right? So we explain the core mission, which is to create an optimized LinkedIn post. We tell it it's going to get research, performance patterns, its specialized expertise. We give it information, its content creation structure. And then crucially, we just give it loads of examples of what great copy looks like on LinkedIn. And that's kind of it, really. You just kind of give it what great looks like. The more examples you can give your models, guys, on what good looks like, the better it does. Who would have thought? What a crazy, crazy revelation that actually is. Cool. And then we're going to give it a bit of a name. This is our script agent. And let's just give it a bit of a name. And it's basically going to describe this as, if I come down here, creates high-performing LinkedIn posts by combining topic research, performance, insight into engaging, ready to publish content that matches the user's voice and drives meaningful engagement. So let's call this one script agent. This is more for our benefit than the AI's. It knows its name, its label, so to speak, as the one underneath it. And then finally, we have one final agent over here, which is the hook agent. Now, you know, when I went to the School of Games, guys, and I met loads of people, we've been there a couple of times now, the least of which making 40K a month as a solo person. What was really interesting, I'm just adding an AI agent in here, is that you realize like the hook is like 80% of the thing. I had Alex Hormozy roast my YouTube channel, roast my funnel. And it was basically like, dude, like 80% of the entire thing is the packaging and the hook. That's where you want most of your time. And given that that's so important, because think about this, if they don't like the hook, They're not going to read it. That's why I've gone so far as to actually give you 3 additional hook options with this automation, because it's important. That's just why how valuable it is. So what we're actually going to do here, and again, this is all basically the prompt, is we're going to give it like a freaking mega database of crazy stuff. So check this out, right? If I come back over here and I click on our guy, we give him a prompt, a user message. I'm going to show you this. This is a big boy. But basically, we said, look, you've got a database of 250 proven hooks. These have gone like mega viral, so they definitely work. Remember, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You take what works and you adapt it. Like Zynga Poke had this thing, like you don't know enough to create new yet. You have to find out what works, add your spin, make it unique. But of all the things to create, guys, hooks are not one of them. Hooks are just things that work. I'm speaking because this is the thing I'm drilling into my head. It's like I've learned a lot over the past couple of years. So we're basically giving it loads of hooks like this. Like, hey, if you want to end up like insert pain point, then skip the video. All right, cool. And stuff like you can have a perfect insert dream result by simply dumbing it down. Whatever it is, right? Its job then is to take the context that we got, the LinkedIn post, and then reach in and grab 3 that it thinks is most relevant and then change it specifically to the content that you want to talk about, right? And that's it. And so then you can get the output and say, well, I like hook 2. I'm going to throw that one in there. How freaking cool is that? I think that's so freaking sick. So we come back over and then we enter this one in here and we can see hook optimization, select and adapt 3 different hooks from high performing from a database of 250 examples. And that's it. And guys, you've basically completed the entire automation. I come down to the chat model. Once again, I'm just going to give it open router, and we'll chill out with GPT 4.1 mini. I might do Claude on this one, to be honest with you, but you get the idea, right? You can kind of mix it around as and when you want to go. And that's it, guys. So the question is, does it work? Well, you just see me build this step by step. Let's ask a question and see. So what would be something that we may want to make a video on? So if our target avatar is business owners wanting to scale or people who want to sell to those business owners, we could say something like, hey, could you do me a favor, bro? Could you create for me a post on why it's really important to become an AI native business? And I'd love to include some data and research in there if possible. We'll do that automatically, but I'm being specific about it. So look at this now. We fired it off. What's going on? It is the first agent has gone through. It's doing research and it's finding outliers simultaneously. We got double AI agent action going on, which is really cool. And you can see, guys, the logs. Crucially, look at the logs. If things aren't working, the answer is in the logs. You can see, is it doing everything? You think of yourself as like the inspector, right? You're inspecting what's going on. You know, is this guy doing his job? Is that guy doing his job? Now, why is it important and worthwhile doing that? It's worthwhile doing that because you're building a system. And the beautiful thing about a system is its effort is high up front and then no effort after that, providing you do the proper work. So it's worth taking a moment just to go in and go deep and check all this stuff. So now it's completed everything. It's gone through the research agent, the outlier agent, and the script agent. So let's see what he said and bring this guy over. All right, so here's a LinkedIn post. Are you still treating AI as just a buzzword or an optional tool? Becoming an AI native business in 2025 isn't optional anymore. It's a strategic necessity. Here's why. Over 80% of successful SMEs are embedding AI. Bam. AI-driven automation can save you 34%. It's got the data, guys. How freaking cool is this? I come down. Let's have a look now. So what it hasn't included, guys, oh, you know what's happened? This is completely my bad, guys. I didn't include the mega prompt for the social agent, which is freaking hilarious. So let me come over and grab that. So the reason why that's important is because we tell the AI agent what to do and in what order. So that went a little bit ham and crazy. So look, I'm gonna come back over here. We are gonna come down here to options and click on system message. Now this is a really important prompt and I'll explain why in a second, okay? Come down to expression. So we basically tell it what sub agents it has and what they all do differently. So it will kind of like reach over and have a go, as you just saw, when it doesn't have the information. But crucially, this is what I'm explaining. I want the sequence I want it to go into, and also, you know, how I want the outputs to look like, the formatting outputs. Like I want 3 different hooks at the end, output formatting requirements, all that sort of stuff. And one other thing I'm going to show you now before we run it with the new prompt is the memory side, which is really cool. So if I click on memory here, we're going to give it simple memory. And it's okay to put this, I'm going to put this context for 35. That's cool. What we can do with this, guys, this is where it kind of looks a bit messy, is we can connect the same memory to everything. So bring this guy over. Here we go. Bring this over here. And then bring this one over here. And now this memory is connected. It has a shared, beautiful connected memory. It's going to return stuff. So if I ask it like another prompt, which could be something like, hey there, dude, could you write me a post on why it's really important for businesses to be AI native. Bam, so we put this one out, and then the whole system can start again, and you'll see the memory starts to pop up as it goes through. And bam, guys, just like this, we have the beautiful inputs. So let's take a look. Let's have a look. Being AI native isn't just a trend, it's a business evolution you can't afford to ignore, blah, blah, blah. We go through all the different stuff. Some interesting stuff you can ask yourself, and then some hashtags, AI native, business entrepreneur. And then we've got the hooks, right? Which is, if you don't have AI native systems in place, you're leaving predictable growth and massive time savings on the table. If I woke up tomorrow without AI automation, this is exactly what I do to regain lost time and scale faster. And number 3, this is what being AI native looks like, cutting your admin tasks in half, blah, blah, blah. Really, really freaking cool. So guys, congratulations on that. The final part we need to do now is simply, I'll come down here and get rid of this guy. Basically, just connect to Loveable. So what we're gonna do is get rid of this chat guy real quick, remove him, and head over to loveable.io. So to do that, we're gonna put down here, let's have a quick look. Now, Loveable Dev, very, very cool. We just basically give it a prompt for a chat interface. What you can also, if you wish to, is come over to an existing one and remix, which grabs the same one and just replicates it. I'll also put a link down below if you want for this, which is, if I come over to, where are we at now? It's down here on the left-hand side, under multi-agent content. Yeah, this guy, which is basically, if you just, not this one. If you put in Loveable chat code, if you just put this information to Loveable, you will create basically this entire thing. So I'll put that down below in the description for you, so you can just literally grab it and build it. Out of support for your time, I'm just going to show you exactly what you've done. Once you've entered that information in, you're going to see a page that looks something similar to this. You can add in logos, by the way, by just copying a logo and just telling it to add in. Now, crucially, what's really important is to come over to your scenario, and you can over here, you're going to add in a webhook like so. Start the webhook when it's called, and just click it. I'll change it to post and click it. And all you do is you come over here and you say, when you list down, is, hey dude, I would like you to change the webhook deliverability address to this one here. Boom, that's it. And then basically whenever you send that, it'll go directly to it. The one you have, if you copy that code, by the way, may ask for a password. If you don't want to give a password, you can just change it and say, hey, remove that. So now it's updated. So let's just check out if this is correct or not. So we just come down to our phenomenal scenario, which is over here. So we click on him, we click on listen for test event, we come back over and we just type in the word test. It says it received, has it received it? It has. How freaking cool is that? And then you literally come down here, you connect it together like so. You click on a new one, you just then click on webhook. We call this the old webhook sandwich. Respond to webhook node, first incoming item is fine, because the only thing that's gonna send something to it is the AI. And then you click on the webhook node, instead of respond immediately, just click on when, using the respond to webhook node, which is really, really cool. And then the only other thing that you need to do is come down to simple memory and change it from this session key to this, which is basically going to be the unique session ID. Can you see there, guys? Session ID. So this is sending over a unique session, so it won't literally forget it. Now, the next thing that we need to do once we've crushed that down is move on and start looking at AI operating systems, which I cover in this exact video right here.